do I have a message for you today. Gosh, this one was so hopeful. And I remember a time when the word underdog defined me so greatly, so vastly, especially growing up the way I did, marrying into what I did, coming out of what I did, and somehow finding myself here. And I don't know what app you're watching me on right now, but dependent on the app you're watching me on right now, you'll either say, I like you, I've just now saw you, or I've been watching you for a long time. But behind that is 20 years of working for the Lord, and 20 years of pastoring, and 20 years of writing books, and 20 years and more of raising kids and raising congregations and students and myself, and all under the watchful eye of God. There's one thing about me that everybody knows, and it's that if anybody can catch a nickname, it's me. Now, abusive people gave me some really colorful nicknames, but most of my nicknames were beautiful. I remember a friend of mine, and we used to work together when we would go and do things for Congress or things of that nature to try to see bills be passed or people actually do something about everything that's so evil in the world. And I remember he called me the comeback kid every time. If it got printed in a book, the comeback kid. If it got printed on a flyer, the comeback kid. If he had the mic and he was presenting me as his keynote, the comeback kid. Every time. But the underdog was a word that I loved. If the Christian Broadcasting Network has not changed my bio yet, I can't remember what it says, but I think at a point in time, it says something similar to the champion of the underdog. And that's true. I love to listen to people preach or teach or grow when they come from nothing. We went from nothing into something and we're all we got. Do you remember that old song? But it's true. It's like you and God has been all that you had. Maybe your kids or your family or friends, or maybe it's just you and God and that's all that you rock with. Here's the thing though, you keep your eyes on Jesus so much that you don't even notice how high you're flying, because you don't ever look at the ground. It all looks the same to you, because all you see is the sky. But if you took just a second to look down at how far the Lord has brought you, you just might be surprised. It's probably been about going on 3 years now that I go places and people will come up to me and say, aren't you Pastor Brooke on TikTok? Or can I take a picture with you? Well, my first thought is, am I? Because I still feel like the little farm girl that I was when I was tiny. And I pull out my camera too, because I think it's neat that I get to meet people that I talk to you all the time, and I just don't see your face and you see mine. And I like to think of that. I like to think that I have a face to go with all the people behind the screen. It's sweet, it's nice. But make no mistake and think that I know how to handle that. It's never any more surprising after all these years. It's never any less strange. It's never any less of God going, do you see? And I'll be like, well, now I'm going to go to the Mexican restaurant, and then I'm probably going to stop off at the Ross, and then I'll go home, and then I'll watch Switched at Birth, and God's like, Brooke, do you understand? Now, don't get me wrong. I know God has did a lot of great things, and I could have never done this thing without him, and I'm not saying that he didn't carry me far. What I'm saying is, I like you, keep my eyes on the sky so much that half the time I don't even realize that I'm 500 feet above the ground, because it's just normal to me to look at God all the time. Here's the thing, the only thing you've ever been under is under the pinions of his wings, like the Bible says. You have never been under anybody's foot. That's for dang sure. And you never will be. Your enemies watch you, and they were waiting for you to fall off when they did what they did to you. But it don't matter what they do. They can slander you. They can throw you in a whale like Joseph. They can send you down the river like Moses. They can do anything. They can pursue you. They can talk bad about you. They can watch you from fake accounts. But one thing about you is, just like Taylor Swift said, this town is fake, but you're the real thing. Because you are. And you're anointed, and favor ain't fair, and it makes people mad, and I don't know why. Because if you get close to God, you get your own. I just need you to remember today that you're so much further ahead than you know. Your names are being spoken of in rooms you've never even been in. I know I, for one, have a lot of friends who do what I do, and we have a little chat. And every now and again, we'll send each other something and say, have you seen this person? They're going to go places. There's something about them. They're anointed. Nobody knows that. Because that would be weird to just randomly shout people out. It's weird. I don't know what to do when people randomly shout me out. It's sweet and kind and it makes my day, but at the same time, that would be a lot. There's a lot of times you don't know, and I'm just a little preacher. Think of somebody that could change your life, you know? But God will put people in your path. Underdog, you are not sitting on the porch waiting on your chance no more. And you don't even need a chance. Because with God, you don't need luck. All you need is favor. All you need is His great love and kindness. All you need to remember is where He brought you from. And yes, you may still feel like the little girl on the farm like I do every time I get up to the pulpit. I feel like a grown-up, and I know what I'm doing. I'm good at my job, but when I go back home, I am still the little girl on the farm. I'm still her. She's still me. And that's what makes you good at it. Because you never forget. You know it's heavy. You put on that crown that God gave you and that heavy mantle, and you get up and you talk to the people and you love on them and you send them home with hopefully whatever it was that God had for their heart that day. And then you take it off and you go home. It's heavy. People think it's special. It's heavy. People think it's shiny. It's heavy. It's heavy. But here's the thing, is that no one can do what God calls you to do but you. Your purpose is hand-tailored, hand-cut couture. You've never been the underdog. You've never been underfoot. But boy, are you going to trample the enemy under yours. Promise me you'll take a second to look at how far you've come. Because underdog, this is your time. This is your time.